Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you the latest self-healing capability released from Microsoft. So this has started to come starting from Power Automate Desktop version 2.66 and so on. It is available in only certain regions. It's also in preview mode. Now what exactly is the self-healing feature? For example, if you have any UI element on your screen, a Windows application or a web application like a button, a label, a text box and so on, under regular circumstances it will work fine, but what if certain attributes or some selector something gets changed about that particular UI element? In that case, when you turn on self-healing, the AI of this action will go ahead and identify the changed UI element and perform the next step of action whatever we configure. For example, if we are clicking a button and something changes about that button, so the self-healing capability will go and click that button irrespective of the change that was made. We are going to see that how. So this was about the feature, and just to read out the feature explained by Microsoft, and that's an AI powered capability that helps desktop flows recover from any UI or browser based automation, meaning Windows application or web application. If there are any failures caused by a missing or a changed UI element, then the self healing capability will kick in. Of course, we need to turn it on. So instead of the flow stopping in between when an UI element can't be found, the self-healing will attempt to identify the most likely correct element at runtime and continue the flow run. So if you have to know, there was one Copilot repair feature released quite some time ago. This one. So what this was doing is at runtime when it was running, whenever any UI element failed, then this feature used to give us a list of options, and either we go and manually repair the UI element when this toggle is set to on, or Copilot will suggest you the most closest possible UI element, and then you will continue it by selecting that element. However, the self-healing feature is totally different. It will not stop. Whereas in Copilot Repair, it used to stop the flow and someone from IT used to log into the machine and then correct the selectors. Whereas in self-healing, it will not stop and it will continue, and we will see how it works. For that, I'm going to make use of a web application. This is a simple invoice submission form. I'll quickly show you how the form works under normal circumstances. Let me take some random values. Let's give test client name, some random amount, and submit the invoice. If all fields are filled correctly, it will give us a message saying invoice was submitted successfully. Now let's quickly build this flow with the help of Power Automate Desktop and by making use of the recorder so that we can do it in quick time. For that, I'll take a new flow, self-healing demo. I'll turn off the repair flow errors because, as I mentioned, that will kick in and it will show some manual options to repair the selector. But since we are seeing self-healing, we don't want this. So let's record the actions. I'll turn on the recorder, go to the web page in question. I'll start the recording. As soon as it has identified the text box, I'll right click on it. And since we want to populate this text field, I will add some dummy values. Likewise for the date, 23/04/2026, and some random client name, test client name, likewise a random amount, and we are going to finally click this submit invoice button. So I right click, press button, and you can see the message box has generated in the background, and we'll click on done to generate the auto generated actions. So let's run it and see if our flow that we have built using the recorder, if it's working fine or not. For that, I will bring this to the original state by clicking the run button over here, and I keep a side-by-side view so that we see what's happening while the flow is running. Right click, run from here, and wait for it to proceed. So it's attaching the Chrome window, populating the first text box, adding the date, the client name, the amount, and finally the submit button, and we can see the message box also. So far it's working fine. Now let's see an issue on which we are going to use the self-healing capability. Let's try to identify, the left hand side is the HTML for this particular form. So let's try to identify the HTML for the submit button, which is this. Now here we are in our press button action, the selector that it looks for this submit button indicates that it's going to look for a button that has a text as submit invoice. Now what we will intentionally do is we will go and change this text to generate invoice. I click on run so that it gets refreshed. So here's the new button. Now if I click on testing the selector, will it identify the submit button? It should not, because we have changed the caption. Can you see immediately there is an error? So it has not identified, meaning our flow will not run when we run it using the same recorded actions. And to solve this, we are going to turn on the self-healing capability. If you can see, if I hover my mouse here, there is the self-healing icon. And how to turn this on is you go into the error handler on error button, and the first option that has come up recently, it's the self-healing, and you simply turn it on so that whichever action is being performed, for example press button on web page, that will first try the self-healing capability. Now one thing you need to remember, if I go to the documentation of the self-healing, it says that this is a runtime only capability. It applies to console and cloud attended and unattended runs, meaning when you run from the main console, that is when you run it from this console screen, or when you call it from the cloud flow, either in attended or unattended mode. If you see some of the old flows, this one has this icon over here which indicates that we cannot run it, and you can see the play button is disabled. That is because this flow is not published. So in order to run the flow from the main console, you have to publish your flow first, and we do that by clicking this publish button. The flow is published. Let me close it, refresh my screen, and now I have the self-healing demo that we just created with the play button enabled. Let's click the play button. Before that, let me see if our web page is refreshed. Yeah, let's keep a cleaner view. This on the right hand side, pad on the left hand side. Now I'm going to click the play button, and we should see some actions being performed over here, including the clicking of the generate invoice, because we have enabled the self-healing capability. So there's the bottom right hand corner indicating when flow has started. We can see the messages getting populated. It takes some time over here because the AI kicks in. Perfect. Even though our selector for this button was captured for the text submit invoice over here, but now something has changed in the UI. Now it has a generate invoice caption over here, but still our flow went on to click this button because of the self-healing feature that we enabled. Things you need to know: currently self-healing is available for only specific UI and browser automation actions that interact with a single UI element. For example, clicking a button, selecting a checkbox. Yeah, so this feature is available for only certain set of operations. It's available for Windows application as well as for web applications. So you might want to try this out. Thank you.